Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas Tutora. Welcome to Tutora Time. Joe Biden and Dr. Fauci are saying that maybe we don't need to wear a mask out in public. They're saying that the risk of transmission, if you're unmasked out in public, not in a big crowd, is very low.
It's pretty common sense now that outdoor risk is really quite low, particularly, if you were a vaccinated person, wearing a mask outdoors, obviously the risk is minuscule.
Gee, what a surprise. None of us figured that out a year ago. Joe Biden has a little caveat, though. He says that if you've been fully vaccinated, you can go to small outdoor gatherings without a mask on. Come on. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm doing my best. But really, Joe.
Starting today, if you're fully vaccinated and you're outdoors, you need, and not in a big crowd, you no longer need to wear a mask. But beginning today, gathering with a group of friends in a park, going for a picnic, as long as you are vaccinated and outdoors, you can do it without a mask.
Does Joe Biden not realize that states like Texas, Florida, a lot of Arizona, many people throughout the country have not been wearing masks and have been going to large gatherings already? People have been at events for the last year, political rallies, Trump rallies, other political events and rallies, and they're not wearing masks and they're standing side by side. And guess what? Nobody's getting sick.
Now that comes as a new study suggests our social distancing rules may have been misguided from the very start. That study claims that standing apart at 60 feet is no safer than at 6 feet.
You know, when you do a scientific experiment, there's such a thing known as the test group. So this whole thing of wearing a mask is totally unscientific. The only way you could really know if a mask worked is if you did a large-scale study, one group with the mask, one group without the mask, and then you could see if masks really make any kind of positive difference. The truth is, the one study that was done on masks, the Danish study, which the leftist media likes to bury, is the only study on masks. It was a controlled group of about 2,000 participants with masks and 2,000 participants without masks. And the group that always wore a mask, 1.8% of the test group got COVID, and the group that never wore a mask, 2.1% of the test group got COVID. That's a difference of 0.3%, which is statistically insignificant. There is no actual evidence that wearing a mask does anything to slow the transmission of COVID. It's simply a visual effect to remind you that there's something that you're supposed to be very afraid of.
The CDC is able to make this announcement because our scientists are convinced by the data that the odds of getting or giving the virus to others is very low if you're both been fully vaccinated and out in the open air.
I have my own built-in internal mask. It's called my immune system, and you have it too. Do you really think that the immune system works just fine, but the only thing it's missing is a little piece of paper over your face to stop transmission of COVID? And what kind of vaccine is this, and how effective could it possibly be if the only thing we could do once we get it is stand in a very sparse group of people who have also been fully vaccinated? Joe Biden's speech today kept stressing how life's going to ease up if you're vaccinated, if you're vaccinated, if you're vaccinated.
The bottom line is clear. If you're vaccinated, you can do more things more safely, both outdoors as well as indoors. So for those who haven't gotten their vaccination yet, especially if you're younger or think you don't need it, this is another great reason to go get vaccinated. Now.
You see, they're creating a class of people. It's like the Sneetches with the stars on their belly. They're setting up a class of people, the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, you could have your freedom back. But if not, Joe Biden still owns your freedom, and he'll let you know what you can and can't do.
I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
Folks, this is really pushing the boundaries of sanity at this point. It's quite evident after all this time that people who are perfectly healthy are at very low risk of getting COVID. And 99.8% of the population of the United States will never be affected or suffer consequences from COVID-19. The left has really played out their hand with gaining political power due to COVID. Is COVID real? Yes, it is. My mother passed away from it. She was 88 years old, living in a New York City nursing home. She had Alzheimer's. This is what happens when you get older. You're more subject to illness. This is not new information I'm giving you. This is something we've all known since the beginning of time up until 2020, just in time for the start of Donald Trump's re-election cycle. So folks, go out, enjoy your life. It's up to you whether you want to wear a mask or not, but Joe Biden has no special knowledge that you don't. And you can decide for yourself how to manage your health and what level of exposure you're comfortable with when it comes to wearing a mask. And remember, it's everybody's choice. If you love your fellow man, you'll live as a free person and show them that free thinking still exists. I'm Nicholas Tutora, and I'll talk to you again soon on Tutora Time.